I am the next Titan.
16 people, 16 ideas, different work ethics. Only one winner takes home 5 million.
It's all about the business. It's all about the intrigue. Only one will be the next Titan.
You are the winner. You are the next Titan.
We proudly announce the winner of the first season of the next Titan, Miss Iroghama Ogbeifun.
When I was younger, I would try to find different words like inspiring, real, outstanding, spell out my name. Well, now I'm older. Who's Iro? I think that I'm what you see is what you get, and I am real. I'm hardworking. I am very passionate about things that I'm passionate about. I went to school. Primary school was in Portharcourt, so born and bred here. Then secondary school shipped to Benin. Then I studied abroad. My first degree was in biology and psychology, and my master's in public health in London. So I didn't always think I was going to go into business. I kind of stumbled into my destiny, I would say. I had a passion for medicine, things that had to do with health, and I was working towards that. At some point, I thought all of this personality too big to fit into a doctor's coat, so I had to shelve that doctor's dream and look for a way to change. So I think I'm very pro change. How do I impact? That's who I am. Growing up was, me with an older brother that I absolutely adored and looked up to, idolized. So I got to do all the things that boys get to do, including running around without my shirt till a certain age. But my brother was a huge influence because he was really driven, very intelligent, very smart. He was winning awards from primary 6, so I kind of he had set the standard, literally. He won a scholarship to go to secondary school. So he was, somebody to look up to. So I strived to match all his achievements to a certain stage. And then I kind of moved to my dad. My dad is all things business. He's smart, intelligent, he's running about 3-4 companies and very, very hardworking, and there was a lot of inspiration from there. And I'll just say that I literally drank drank him in. People see us today and they're like, this is Greg Ogbeifun in a skirt. That's what they call me. So, and I know that it wasn't something that occurred in my adult age. It started when I was a child, and so growing up was me being the first girl, having loads of siblings coming behind me, looking up to me, expectations, couldn't really mess up, pressure to ensure that I succeeded and that I was a good role model for them, especially my younger sisters. Well, first off, my dad is into marine. I don't really have a lot of understanding about his industry. I try very hard to keep up, but I think what I have imbibed more is who he is in terms of his business ethics, his style of leadership, and so those kind of qualities can be applied across board. So I'm not restricted. I'm not really looking at his company or his shoes per se in terms of his business and all. I have brothers who are in the same field. I'm trying to impact different industries. He's already blazed the trail. I want to blaze my own trail. I want to be referred to Greg Ogbeifun. It's a proud thing to be termed, oh, that's Greg Ogbefun's daughter. I resemble him in certain good qualities. But I eventually want to, be my own person, so that my children too won't be, oh, that's Ogbefun's granddaughter. It will sort of evolve, you know, so I look forward to evolving out of that. But for now, I take it as a compliment. I started my business very informally about 4 years ago, and it started off as a side gig. I was serving, needed extra income just to have fun, travel, and all of that. And I looked for a niche for myself, and it was just an upcoming sector in the hair extensions industry. That was when there was a craze, there was a huge demand for human hair extensions in Nigeria. So I quickly tapped into that, and you know, I started selling, and it was nice. I had good clientele, and I had, you know, a good name, and I was selling from around Nigeria. I had clients from Facebook and stuff. But it was still fun. It was still not serious. It was still just me doing my thing. I didn't realize at that time that I was developing skills in marketing, developing skills in people management. I didn't know what all those things meant. Then it was just me. I was making money. That was all that mattered, you know. I didn't understand finance, management, and all of that. But with time, I guess when I went to do my master's a few months after I started this business, I didn't even register my company. I just had a name, a business name, just so people could identify me with that. But by the time I was leaving, you know, I guess I started talking to my dad a bit more about it. He was like, why don't you just at least secure the name? So I registered the business name, not the company, and I left for my master's. And then while I was there, I continued to conduct business. But I didn't think I understood what an entrepreneur. I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. All I knew was that I am buying hair, I'm selling it, and I'm making money, you know. I didn't think too much about it. But while I was doing my master's, I had so much time, extra time, no family, there's no family, so after school, I'm sitting in my room, and I began to think a lot more. And as usual, thinking, okay, I don't want to just be selling hair, because then everybody began to sell hair. The market had become so saturated, you couldn't tell what was real, what was fake. So I now wanted to stand out, and I identified a gap in that industry. And that's how I came up with my hair care products line, because I realized that, yeah, women are spending so much money, they're buying these hair extensions, it looks nice, it's great. But after 2-3 months, you spent 100,000, you're not getting your money's worth because of a lack of products to care for it. Locally available, good quality, international standard product. So hey, Heaven stepped in, and we decided, why don't we start producing our own, you know, product? And that's how the whole idea, and I began to play with it. Here we are 2 years later, you know, and I'm expanding and I'm growing. Now, taking all of that experience, all the craziness, all the things I had to deal with from 2009 when I first started till 2012 when I applied for the Titan. I have a friend, a very good friend, his name is Solomon. He has, since I started Heaven, he had always just believed in me and believed in what I was doing. And every time he had opportunities, he saw opportunities, he would always call me, I think you should check out this grant, or I think you should go on Better Nigeria and look for they're doing this women's thing and all of that. So sometimes I would follow up, sometimes I wouldn't. But this time he sent me a text and just had the website for the next site. He's like, I think you should check it out. So I went, it was a reality TV show. And for me, from Nigeria, all I know about reality TV shows is the Big Brother. And I am not a big fan of Big Brother. So I just thought, reality TV show. Okay, let me read on. So I first went to the judges, the list of judges, and you know, they had good people. They had Tony Cole, who I'm really, you know, I'm a huge fan of. They had Pastor Tommy. So those are the only 2 names that I recognized at the time. But then I researched the other judges, and they seemed to be kinds of people that you would want to associate yourself with. So that gave the show a level of credibility. So I thought, okay, heck, just don't just apply. They weren't asking for money. You just fill in the application, and then that was it. So I filled it in. He filled it in as well because he wanted to put in for the show. So we did, and that was in September, and I forgot about it. I didn't tell anybody, didn't tell my family, friends, just filled it and I left it. And then in February of this year, I got a call from them saying, oh, you know, they're doing regional auditions. So they came to Portharcourt for the Southeast region. And at that point, I realized, oh, okay, I have to tell my dad because it's 3 months. That means I'm going to be away, business, work, I'll need support and stuff. So I just very casually at the dining table, I mentioned it. Oh, Daddy, so I'm going for this audition, for this show, for this, that. Oh, you're cool. He's one of the judges, you know. And he's looking at me. I say, I'm Pastor Tommy too. He's one of the judges. And he's like, so what is it about? What are you going to benefit? And I'm like, well, you know, just can't disregard the 5 million that I get to win and the brand new car, and of course the experience and networking opportunities. And he's like, okay, go for the audition first. You know, just that. Let's see how it goes. So I went for the audition. You know, I met my friend there. We're about maybe 100. I think they had the lowest turnout out of all their regions. They went to Abuja and I saw the pictures and they had a huge turnout in Abuja. In fact, Lagos, they had to do 2 days of the audition and they had over 5,000 people in Lagos alone. And they were only looking for, I think, 55 people out of from the whole country. So there were only 5 women in Portharcourt auditions. Only 5 women. The rest were men. So we went in, the day progressed, finally I went in for mine, did my thing, very nervous. I finished and then, you know, they told us to wait. So they tell you if you're going to wait and all of that. At the end, they call you in batches and then they pick. So when they finished, you know, I made it through. My friend, unfortunately, he didn't make it through.
Congratulations.
When they finished and everything, the creator of the show was there and, you know, he just couldn't help himself. He was telling us and he was like, this is the poorest. I'm sorry, I have to say this because maybe it would weaken something in, you know, in our youth, particularly in this region. You know, he was like, this is, as in, it was that they picked 10 people from Portharcourt out of the about 80 of us that were there. But it was so hard. And in actuality, only 5 of us deserved to make it, but they couldn't not pick up the 10 because they were picking, I think, 15 from Abuja. And they're picking 10 from here, they're picking the remaining from Lagos. So if they had picked only 5 from the Southeast, it would have been an uproar. Especially on Twitter and Facebook and all of that, they would have gotten some bad kickbacks about it. But people wouldn't have understood that the quality of people that showed up were not, let me don't use the word, they didn't impress the judges enough, but they just had to. I stood there and I felt very sad, you know, to hear that. Out of all the people that applied, both the ones that they applied online, maybe over tens of thousands of people that they had to sift through, and all the people that came for the regional auditions, they were only looking for 16 people to make it into the house. So as God will have it, I made it into the house. And then the other Portharcourt girl made it into the house. And then we had another contestant who auditioned in Portharcourt, Jubril, he was the youngest contestant, he also made it. So we were 3 Portharcourt auditionees that made it to the house, so it wasn't too bad. We thought like women and we paid for it dearly. And meanwhile the men, they thought like men, like businessmen. So we were there thinking, oh, let's cook, let's, you know. We stayed up all night cooking spicy meats and preparing zobo and really killed ourselves, you know, thinking that we were on the right track. We really felt like women and we operated like women. And by the time we were done, you know, while we were exhausted, we hadn't made that much money, but we set a target for ourselves and we reached the target. Fine, but we could have done better. By the time we got to boardroom and it was judgment time and then they announced the figures, it was, the boys had, I think out of 40,000, they had 240,000 that they generated in, let's just say 48 hours, because the first 24 hours you're using it to brainstorm and make your contacts and everything. Then I think we made 120,000. You know, and by the time and I know they were very professional when they delivered their presentation. They talked about how they did some price segmentation. They were selling the same product, but the packaging was different. So they had different clientele. So the expensive, when they went to sell for the same item, when they sell it for 10,000 naira, they packaged it in a nice box. Then the one they wanted to sell for 2.5, they put it in like a transparent bag and they're selling. And I was just looking at, and I was sitting at the end of the table and I literally just listened through and I just thought, wow. And then, you know, their target was actually 500,000. That's what they had targeted. So they thought big. We didn't. We thought 100K should be sufficient. So when we met that, we were fine. So one of the things I wrote in my notebook that day that stayed with me throughout. Why am I telling about this first experience? Because it set the pace, I think, for the rest of the competition for me. Thinking big was number one. Like after that day, I never thought anything was impossible. Anything was possible as long as you could just put your mind to it. And then secondly, it was just work smart. Because we slaved away, we killed ourselves and everything. And at the end of the day, they worked smart, they outsourced. They found people out that could do it for them at a very minimum price. We didn't even think about that, and all of that. So working smart, thinking big, those were two key things that sort of guided me till the end. And I never lost again. We had 12 tasks. So I lost that first one. And after that, that was it. Men predominantly dominate the business world for good reason. Now, if you look at the women who do well in business and dominate their industries, people like Portharcourt, Lakija, and all those kind of women, they're ruthless. There's no emotion. As in, what I mean, like you're not thinking, you're not being motherly, and you have to be precise, you have to be strategic, you have to be strong, you have to be firm, you have to be ruthless, you have to, there are no sentiments. There are no sentiments to it. You're objective. So you don't let your femininity come into it and affect what you're doing in achieving your goal. We were two ladies who made it to the final at the Titan. It came down to two of us, and they used to call us, like, they used to say, these men, they're not women, they're men. We worked like men. Like, if you worked in our teams, we would work late. There was nothing like, as in most of the guys, it was like, are we working? We demanded absolute professional behavior. We demanded excellence, as in if you didn't want to do it, we would do it. There was nothing like, no. Like you would even have to come and say, oh please let me leave it now, that kind of thing. We would brainstorm, we would speak, we were bold, we were courageous, we walk into anywhere. Like they just started calling us, they're like, listen, they're not women, no. Don't underestimate them because you see them, that kind of thing. And so no matter how we're feminist or not feminist, to be objective and to be real and to be true to ourselves, if you're going to succeed, yes, have the softness of a woman, which could work in your favor, but then you have to have the ruthlessness of a man. That's what I've come, especially in this society. You want to succeed. I've been doing business. I run my father's security company. It's not easy. But when I walk into some offices, they disregard me immediately just because I'm a woman, and a young woman at that. Until I open my mouth, and then they sit up because they realize. But I don't go there talking, oh, hello, hi. No. I go there like, excuse me. And then that's when, so you can't disregard the effect of having a bit of a firmness in your approach to business. You can't totally disregard that. So that's what. I think one of our biggest problems, I was just thinking about it a couple of weeks ago, where we're kind of missing it. We've missed it, we're still missing it in this country, particularly in this area, in the South. We miss them young. We want to wait till they get to university or till they come out of university to try to impact or change mindset. And it doesn't work that way, because not everybody comes from a home where they have the right role models or they have the right exposure that forms their initial mindset, whether it's approach to work, approach to interpersonal relationships with men and women, regard for authority, all those type of things. So if we want to wait till mindsets, opinions, and views of life are formed. Whereas if we started to impact these kids from, be it secondary school level, we begin to expose them to what they can be based on other young people. Like if I was going to impact, I would like to go to secondary schools. I would like to visit, whether it's career day, whatever it is, public schools, talk to them. Let them see and that it is possible. No matter what is being told to you at home, this is what you can be. So I feel like if we started to teach, if we started to expose our young people, not university, I'm talking about secondary school, if we began to let them know, try to talk to them, and they begin to think, by the time they get to university, they're thinking. They're not doing law because daddy says they should do law, but they're actually thinking, I want to do law because I want to be like Gani Farami. I want to be able to impact that. I saw one little child in my estate that was molested and nobody could stand up for her. I want to be that person that can stand up. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that's where I would like to come in. Young people. I don't think, and I'm not even talking about university students. I'm talking about people that their minds are still like an open book, still willing for it to be written upon. And life is not always rosy for me. As in, let's put money and all those things aside. Those things don't buy happiness. You know, everybody's coming from somewhere. You know what I mean? As in, everybody has their life experiences. So some people can look at you from a distance and think, oh, you have everything, so heck, who are you to speak? But by the time I begin to talk about some of my life experiences, you realize that yes, money is good, money was there and great, but it didn't mean that I didn't have struggle, it didn't mean I didn't have emotional struggle. I can probably relate to some of the things that some young people go through, whether it's from childhood or whether it's, you know, and all of that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be a victim. I want to rise above everything that's happened to me. I want to be a survivor. I want to be a reference story. And I want to be a living testimony of that phrase that says the best revenge is success. I'll say first of all, kudos. The fact that you're thinking about it or you're doing it as a female entrepreneur, I'll give you kudos for that, because it's easy to think it. Many people dream, many people think, many people write proposals, but very few people actually do and act and take the risk and the leap of faith and just know what, this is my dream, this is my passion, I'm gonna go for it. Don't compromise, stay there, remain faithful, persevere, pressing, and don't take no for an answer. Insist, persist. They will get tired and they will give you what you want. And man, hold on to God. Hold on and have faith. You know, you can have faith by mouth, but I want you to have faith with your heart. Honestly believing that what you're doing, because you're passionate about it, you're giving it your all, you're not compromising, you're working hard and you're sowing those seeds, you will definitely harvest all that you have put in, you will. And I won! Oh my God, I won. As in, it hasn't sunk in yet. Probably still need a little bit more time for it to sink in, but I'm so grateful to God. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking forward to making you guys proud. Watch this space, because next year, you're going to be amazed at where heaven is going to, what the next Titan has done for heaven. You're going to see it next year. Just watch this space.
Stand up for the champion.
After 13 compelling weeks of searching for the champion, a phenomenal first season ends with the emergence of Iroghama Ogbeifun as the next Titan.